The furniture industry is the third largest labor-intensive manufacturing industry in South Africa, contributing 1% to the GDP. In 2009, the sector supported 50,000 jobs. Today, there are only around 26,400 workers, of which over 90% are employed by SMMEs. Proudly South African takes a look at the furniture value chain and how we can all contribute to the growth of this sector.
So I think the history of PG BISON is truly a history of a South African success story. At the end of the day, not only are we proud supporters of the Proudly South African initiative in that, but we proud supporters of manufacturing and local employment in South Africa and that. We did start with humble beginnings. We've grown our businesses, we've invested in our business over many years in that to create what I think is one of the leaders within the African continent of engineered wood products and that. From PG's perspective, we're always looking forward, we're looking to the future and that. We're making sure we're investing to support growth in the industry and that. And we're making sure that we invest in people that will ultimately grow our products and grow our business for the future and that. So if you look at local inputs, as audited by Proudly South African, 95% of all our product we produce is locally made and locally sourced at the end of the day. PG BISON's got their own forests where we plant our own trees, we manage our own timber and that, and we supply it into our factories and that. We've got nearly 100,000 hectares of land, and nearly 45,000 hectares of that is planted with trees that are planted and sustainably managed to ensure that we've got an ongoing resource to supply the industry and that. So I think the easy wins for the industry and how we're going to help develop this industry is really for all of us to get behind the South African Furniture Initiative. We really need to become, all of us, active supporters of the Furniture Master Plan initiative that's been driven by government and private partnership and that. From a retail perspective, how do we ensure that we get more local product onto the retailer's floor? How does the consumer know that it's a local product? So I think we need to commit that if we put local product on the floor, we label it correctly and we give the consumer a choice to buy a local option over an imported option and that. Local is lacquer. There are local solutions and we really got to be proud of what is created in this country and the jobs that we create at the end of the day. And that's what I'm saying. Each consumer has the opportunity to make a decision to make a difference in this country.
The company was incepted in 2004 in December, but before that I always knew I was going to get into furniture design and manufacturing. It's always been a passion of mine. Had a garage operation until our neighbors said it got too noisy. We got chased out of there, and yeah, it was a very good thing because we could then sort of get our own little factory, and from then it's grown from a two-man garage operation to over 100 employees. But that's just within our own portion of that value chain. I mean, just a single working for water team that's pulling biomass out of a waterway, there's a couple of hundred people there. Then you've got the logistics. The sawmill employs 200, 300 plus. And that's just on one specific timber species that we're pulling in on the cottonwood side. Now you add your gum, now you add your blackwood. It's definitely within the thousands. So localization has always been very important from an employment perspective for us. So we try and employ as local as possible and try and upskill as much as possible. But when we look at the raw material inputs, we were quite a big importer of timber, specifically from North America. So your typical oaks, ash, and stuff like that. But yeah, COVID actually had a silver lining for us when it came to that. So when COVID hit and all the sort of shipping lines got a lot more expensive and supply became exceptionally sort of erratic and difficult to predict, started working very heavily with the Working for Water program and Sandbox, and started experimenting and playing around with a lot of the biomass or alien invasive biomass that they're pulling out of our waterways. And we've literally sort of found a really, really good niche that has a wonderful story. So using timber species like various eucalyptus, poplar, blackwood, which is an Australian acacia species. We've managed to now source all of this locally from our waterways, clear the waterways, and still continue to make very high quality, beautiful furniture. So buying local, I mean, just think about it. You're supporting the local economy. You need to start generating a proper circular local economy. Environmentally, it's got to be better because you're not shipping all over the world and burning carbon to get that stuff here. And you've just got to support your local economy. It makes economical sense, it makes social sense, and it makes environmental sense. So from a sustainability point of view, absolute no-brainer.
The company was started in 2018, walked into a very empty workshop and started, with buying equipment, DIY, just to get us going. At the moment, the biggest focus of our business is design and manufacturing of furniture. However, we also do reupholstery and refurbishing of old furniture. And we do interior project management and decorating advisory, which has seen us actually partnering with Galencia Properties to be able to design, interior design and manufacture for their showrooms. We also do curtaining and we do furniture delivery and setup for those clients that require that. At the moment, we have 11 full-time employees, and you will know that COVID has sort of impacted production. So as and when we have more work on the floor, we bring what we call casual workers. But we are currently operating with 11 employees. We only have one manufacturing facility at the moment based in Wynberg in Johannesburg. So local inputs obviously are part of the value chain in that all our input materials are sourced locally. We source from big and small suppliers. I think consumers should really choose local because first and foremost, that helps us to keep the businesses running, meaning it helps us to keep the current jobs, but also to create new jobs. And I think what we need in South Africa with the current high levels of high employment is to be able to create as many jobs as we possibly can. That's one. Two is that if we buy local, obviously we expand local demand, right? So it's not only local demand for my product, it's going to be local demand for these suppliers that I'm referring to, right? So if my customers are buying locally from me, I then have more demand, and therefore there's going to be more. It's that multiplier effect that I'm talking about. Localization is key. Is a key driving factor to us winning. If South Africans make a conscious decision to buy local, if they heed the call of Proudly South Africa and they make a conscious decision to say we will buy local, right? Then your wholesalers are gonna want to, because there are countries where people will go into the store and they will say, I'm not buying this vegetable. I know there was such a movement in California, in the US, where I think it's Whole Food. They would just say they are not importing any fruit. The fruit that they stock in that store should be, should be from the US and California only. That way they're supporting farmers. So I believe that if South Africans can demand that, then they put pressure on their wholesalers. And this is where it starts. So it has to be that sort of a value chain of sorts, starting from consumer demand.
Eco Furniture Design started 12 years ago in Cape Town in a garage. We have 41 employees. We have 2 factories based in REAL-INTE-REA in Cape Town. And then we also have 2 stores, 2 retail stores, one in Claremont and one in Durbanville. And we ship, we do a lot of shipping throughout South Africa. So our online presence is growing. We're involved in all aspects of the process. So we have a standard range, which we develop every year, and we try and develop the range according to what's in fashion, but also with our own unique signature, and obviously with a proudly South African signature. We try to develop the products for our specific market. Choosing local has a positive effect on business and on the economy and employment in South Africa. And those are all really important things that, South Africa needs to focus on. So I think consumers will always choose local as long as the quality is good, the price is good, and that they are aware that they are supporting a local company and a local business. South Africans are very patriotic, and they do understand that supporting local does have a positive effect on the country. So I think it also comes to awareness and connecting, the businesses and the consumers. But there's only positive benefits to choosing local. I just think that there's a real opportunity, if all the stakeholders involved in all areas of business and manufacturing and government, there really is an opportunity. I know people always sugarcoat buy local or proudly South African, but I think there really is an opportunity to uplift businesses and people and to create a lot of employment if people can work together, because there's so many talented people and there's so much potential. I think if people can just focus forward and focus on the positive things and just really work together, there's definitely an opportunity to really grow businesses and grow the economy, and just at the end of the day, create employment for people. So I think there's a lot of talent in South Africa and there's a lot of potential, and I think if people can just work together and all the, like I say, the different departments can just collaborate and just really have have the best interest of everyone at the forefront of the decision making, it definitely can have a big impact to support local proudly South African businesses.
Angel Shack itself was set up over 12 years ago, 12 to 15 to be exact, which started off as a manufacturing facility where we identified the need for a proper local manufacturer, one which would employ local staff and contribute to the local economy, but also from a point of developing full local product without importing components, bits and pieces, etc. from overseas. I think localization is extremely important. It's been the founding blocks of us creating our factories as well as our showrooms and developing our local products. To give you an idea, just on our seating side over the last 5 years, we've probably invested over 50 million rands in tools. So we're no longer relying on, importing components from overseas, where we've actually set up these tools to manufacture all our own product. We press and manufacture our own backrests for our chairs. We're developing local mechanisms for our chairs. All of which, believe it or not, is a first for any manufacturer in this country. There is not one manufacturer beside us that could say they are 100% manufacturing local seating in the country. All our desking is locally manufactured. We've developed and invested huge sums into our own laminates, which are VOC free and environmentally friendly. And, we've been UV coating our laminates with antibacterial properties for the last 12 years. So when COVID came, it was nothing new to us. Our desking surfaces were already antibacterial coated, covering up to 99% of bacteria, with obviously study and material reporting, which we can back our product. So everything local is important to us, from sourcing local components, sourcing local raw materials, investing and sourcing supplies from local manufacturers and local businesses. You know, we support local. We're proud to be part of Proudly South African. We always have been, and we are extremely proud to be a front runner in local manufacturing in the country. It's critically important to the economic development of South Africa. So as I said, we source all our components from local manufacturers, local suppliers, the small guys, you know. We don't like bringing in components because it goes against our business model. We've taken the initiative to develop tools to manufacture those products. So we're making our bases locally. So we're not importing bases anymore. We manufacturing them in our own in-house facilities. We're developing our own chair mechanism, which comes to market within the next few months. Once that component is done, we're 100% manufacturer on a seating component. You know, we're not relying on any outside sources. We don't then bring in from Italy a chair mechanism because we can manufacture it locally. And that kind of investment into local manufacturing, I mean, you're talking millions of rands. And that's what we've done over the last 5 years. Everyone that's employed in our factories today, you know, it's all local employment, you know, all 140 odd staff people are locally supported. You know, when we do our installations, for example, we then further encouraging local employment because we're getting specialized installation companies, which we outsource. And these are local guys, you know, these are local business owners, small business owners that are trying to grow businesses and trying to develop, you know, local offerings to market, but they need the support of the big guys. So yeah, we might employ 140 local people, but I would say we support hundreds more by ensuring we support local suppliers. Local is lekker.
So the inception of REAL-INTE-REA started in 2018 when I was trying to find my feet in the entrepreneurial space. I had been running an architectural company that hadn't been doing so well and trying to juggle that with family. It kind of took me a while, but 2020 I registered the company and everything started going well. COVID started and we hit a back burner. Things were stagnant in the company and all our plans towards growing the company took a backseat. So we opened our online store, which is www.realinterea.co.za, where our customers were able to find us there. A friend of mine recommended me to actually join Proudly South African. And I did that and we got exposure due to the platform that it gave us. And yeah, we're here today. At the moment, we only have one employee, which is myself. I take in the orders and obviously report to the manufacturers. I only manufacture by order. So our manufacturers are also local, which makes it easier for us, and as well as the turnaround time based on how long it takes to make the furniture and deliver to the client. Local is lekker. We choose local because we are doing it I'm South African for first. I do it for my people. And I think because majority of the resources are in South Africa, why not? I think having to produce anything that is locally created is just an injustice to who we are as a people. I think it's important that me as a South African create furniture pieces for South Africans and make it strictly in South Africa. It benefits the economy, and also I think, it makes us proud.
Tobela, my name is Jacqueline Palani. I am the co-owner of Jacqueline Designs. We are an interior design, product design, and project management company. We have been operating now for the past 5 years. And yeah, it all started as an idea, and with lots and lots of hard work, we're now in it for 5 years. So currently we employ 5 full-time employees, and we have about 20 to 30 subcontractors. So from your wood sculptures to steel, to upholsterers, we basically subcontract all our work according to the brief and according to what we have to do for our clients. So being intentional about our designs being able to be made locally is really important for us. We believe that it's not just about working with suppliers that are within Johannesburg or the city, but it's also about rural development. So we have sculptures, wood sculptures from Limpopo. We've got beaders in Limpopo. We've got potters in Limpopo as well. So it's also about growing our rural market as well, and seeing all the amazing stuff that they've got today and bring it here to the city or to the world. Nobody else is going to help us out of the situation that we're currently in. Like, there aren't enough jobs. Our market isn't doing well at all. And if you don't choose local, then you're going to go and pay a couch for 300 and something thousand, whereas you could actually be collaborating or actually getting an entire team to sustain themselves, right? So it's about home. Everything begins at home. And I think that right now, more than ever, we need to consider that everything begins at home, and let's keep it at home. And I mean, if the international market is showing a lot of interest, but your home comes first. And that's, for me, that's the answer that I would give, to say, you know what, support your own. And you don't even know how many other companies they're not joined to that. You know, when somebody comes to Jacqueline Designs, they're looking for a couch, but they don't know that they're actually empowering 10 other people with purchasing just one couch.
Well, the story of the Urbanative the company was started in 2017. I got an opportunity to take part in an exhibition where I needed to design and manufacture pieces for Decorex, and that's really where it started. And we've been going since. So we're a multidisciplinary design studio based in Johannesburg. We design and manufacture furniture. The drive of the Urbanative is really telling significant and relevant African stories through product and furniture design. Localization is a huge, huge factor in our business. It is, other than it being the way that we do business, it is why we do business. We believe very much in trying to make as much in-house or as much within the communities that we're in. The Urbanative, more than anything, is about community and creating like a tribe of people who just make, and being able to do that locally is a huge, huge thing for us, because we want to make sure that the stories that we're telling, they're inspired by the cultures here at home, but also that whatever monetary benefit we get is also shared in the communities whose stories we are telling and who we are a part of.
The furniture value chain represents immense potential for job creation. So next time you buy a couch or a bed, an office chair or a kitchen table, think local and choose a South African manufactured item.